Hello everyone and welcome to the Farmer Supply Association Agri Report. I'm Randy Klopechka, agronomist with Farmer Supply Association. Actually taping on December the 20th. Now you're probably not going to see this in most cases till after the first of the year. You know, usually I kind of distribute my video within a day or two after I tape it, but you know, with it being the holiday season, Christmas and New Year's coming up, I think everybody needs to take as much of a break as they can, so I'll probably just wait till after like January 2nd or 3rd, something like that, before I, distribute this to our farmer members. So anyway, if you don't get this you see this on January 2nd and you hear me tape that I taped it on December 20th, well, that's why the reason it took, I waited that long to distribute the thing. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's, time to get back to work here pretty quick. I know, planting is kind of an ongoing thing throughout the year, but it's really time to pick up on planting for this 2024 crop at this time. So that's some of the things I want to talk about today. Mainly what I want to focus on is rice varieties and hybrids. We've got a really good selection, probably the best selection we've had in a long time. Now, some of these aren't going to be available quite yet, but I'm going to talk about, what we're going to have available over the next year or two. And got a lot of choices, the best selection we've had in a while, I think. We'll see how they pan out in the field. But certainly, a lot of things to talk about in this, so that's what I want to do today. I'm going to talk about, the varieties and hybrids that will be available through FSA. Again, seed availability is going to vary. There's going to be a few of these, like a Taurus, like a CL MO5, and maybe one or two more that either there's not any seed available at all, or there was such a limited amount and it's already been spoken for. So, just because I mentioned some of these varieties doesn't mean seeds available this year, but certainly will be more widely available, in 2025. And so I just want to keep you in the loop on what's going on and talk, let you think about some of the choices you've got and what's coming in the future. Going to kind of break these down by category. I'll start out with the conventional varieties that don't have a herbicide trait with them. A couple of new varieties from the University of Arkansas. Ozark is a long grain variety, kind of the old conventional taller variety, stature that we've been used to for a long time. I call it the old style stature, plant. Ozark looks really good in the test. It's an improvement over Diamond in most cases. Now you'll see, fields, you'll hear about, I'll see test results, you'll hear about a field now and then where, the Ozark maybe, didn't do quite as good as a Diamond, but a lot of cases it will. And I think if you look at the overall averages, it's going to be better than Diamond by a little bit. Not a huge jump there, but certainly some improvement yield-wise over Diamond. Taurus is the new medium grain from the University of Arkansas. And it looks like a bigger step increase over, Titan and Jupiter and some of the other medium grains we've had in the past. So Taurus looks really good in the test yield-wise. Don't really see any major, negative points to it. So it looks like it's going to be a really good one. Again, seed availability is either, non-existent or very, very limited on these newer varieties. So keep that in mind. But certainly for the future, if you're looking for conventional long grain, conventional medium grain, then I think Ozark and Taurus are going to be, kind of the story, in the future for a few years until, we get some, again, another shot of newer varieties out there. So keep these in mind. Of course, we've still got Diamond, which has been growing for quite a while. Still got Titan, on the medium grain front. So we've still got some, some good conventional choices there. But again, these newer ones look like they'll be a step up. And when they become available, if you can't get any seed this year, then certainly I think, the future looks good after this year with those. Other conventional varieties, Progeny has Progo 1 and Progo 2. They've been around for a little while. Progo 1 has the better yield potential of those two, but those are a couple of other choices for you on the conventional long grain front. Progeny also has a new medium grain they've got available. It's a Progo M3, and this thing looks pretty good in the test. A lot of times it's been pretty close to Taurus in some of the tests, the U of A tests I've looked at, so it's certainly one with some promise. Depending on what the medium grain market does, we certainly want good seed availability for when those medium grain markets are up there. And, it's always kind of hard to tell from year to year what we're going to have. I like keeping some medium grain in your rotation because they're generally pretty consistent and they've got good disease packages. So, again, that'll be Pro Gold M3, the medium grain from Progeny. Moving to the Clearfield varieties from Horizon Ag, CLL 16's kind of been the go-to Clearfield variety from them for the last 2-3 years. They have a couple of new ones that look very promising, that really look pretty good. Saw some of them in the field last year, and again, they look good. That's CLL 18. It's earlier than 16, higher yielding than 16, so again, it looks like it's going to be a pretty good choice for us. CLL 19 is a semi-dwarf variety, so something a little bit different there with the semi-dwarf. It's even earlier than the 16 or 18, and it has better milling. So I really kind of intrigued by 19 because of that earliness. When you see it in plots and in the field, what limited amount we've seen in the field, I just intrigued by that earliness, and if you have some earliness and can maintain these other good qualities like the yield and the milling and everything, well, certainly I like to look at those, and that may be an option for us. Not planting the whole farm in something early like that, but giving you something earlier maturing to plant and get you a little earlier harvest start. The medium grain Clearfields from Horizon Ag, of course, we've grown CL MO4 for the last few years. It's a good medium grain variety. If you're needing a medium grain Clearfield, it's good. It's not top end yield or anything like that. What I saw last year was generally in that 160 to 170 range, so not bad yielding, but not top end yielding as well. CLL MO5, probably not going to be available at all as far as seed this year, but in 2025, hopefully we'll have more CL MO5 available, and it looks like it's going to be a step change, and that's that term we use when we're going to take a significant step up in yield from this, what we've been growing in this category. So I look for CL MO5 to be a really improved, Clearfield medium grain there. So I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully we can see more of that in the field in 2025, maybe a little bit in test plots and stuff this year. But again, that's one to really look forward to if you're looking for a Clearfield medium grain. Next, moving to the Rice Tech hybrids. Of course, when you talk about the Rice Tech hybrids, you're going to talk about high yield and a good disease package. The newer ones are nothing different than that. They're going to maintain those characteristics. As far as conventional Rice Tech hybrids, 753, 7302, 7401 are all available. All good choices. We've grown 753 for a while. I understand there will be a pretty good supply of seed for that. So, if you can grow the conventional, hybrid like 753, well, certainly it has outstanding yield potential, and all three of these, are good choices if you're looking for that category there. As far as the full page, hybrids from Rice Tech, of course, that's their version of Clearfield with that technology there. But we've grown 7321 and 7521 pretty exclusively over the last few years. Now we've got 7421 and 7523 full page available as well, and they look like good hybrids as well. One little caveat, I've talked about the disease packages of the the Rice Tech hybrids. Well, 7521 is a little different because most of us know that it's got the fall smut susceptibility. It can be pretty ugly in those bad years for fall smut. Fall smut it looks worse than it is. It doesn't hurt yield or quality as much as it looks like it would, just looking at it in the field. But that is, one little thing different about the Rice Tech hybrids when you're talking about the disease situation. So always remember that with 7521, that you're going to have that fall smut. If it's a fall smut year, and it's good to put some propiconazole out there to kind of limit that. Propiconazole doesn't totally take care of fall smut, but it certainly gives you about 60% suppression of it or something like that. Also on the Rice Tech hybrid front, they have a medium grain. It's going to be available in the future. That's 3202, so it's good to have another medium grain choice, and the first medium grain choice in the hybrids. And just again, for those medium grain years when we want to plant a lot, it's good to have some choices there. Moving to the Previsia and Max Ace varieties, of course, these are tolerant to the quizalofop herbicide, which is the old, we used to use Assure in soybeans a lot, and that's that same active ingredient there that we can control some grasses with and red rice in, especially in those situations where we got new path resistant red rice. So, of course, Previsia from Horizon Ag has the PVL03 and the PVL04. We've grown PVL03, and yields have been okay. If you need this technology, I mean, you can get 160, 170 bushel rice, so that's not bad, certainly, not top end, but if you need that technology, certainly that's a pretty good yield for that. They now release PVL04, which, according to Horizon Ag's, probably a little better for the north end of their territory, like North Arkansas, or most of Arkansas, but especially North Arkansas and getting into Missouri. It's going to be a better choice for you. So we'll be considering PVL04 up in our part of the country, I think, and that will be available. Rice Tech, of course, has the Max Ace Quizalofop herbicide resistance. It's got the same tolerance to the same active ingredient of herbicide. Of course, you use Provisia with the Provisia varieties, and you use High Card with the Max Ace varieties. With the Max Ace, they've got, of course, it's Rice Tech's version of this technology. So they have one hybrid, that's Rice Tech 7331, and they also have a variety, Rice Tech V7231. Of course, the hybrid has the better yield potential of the two, but those are a couple of choices if you're wanting that technology. So you can see a lot of choices this year and even more next year. Things look really bright if you're a rice farmer and want choices for your variety selection. Well, I think we're going to have them in the future. One other thing quickly, milling. Of course, last year was not a great milling year for us, so people ask about varieties in milling. Well, I think I looked at the University of Arkansas data on this, and really a couple of things kind of stood out as far as varieties. One, the medium grains are generally better on milling than the long grains are going to be. And the other thing, the Provisia varieties like PVL03 and L04 show better milling as well. So if you're looking at varieties in milling, certainly the medium grains and the Provisia varieties are something to look at right there. So, but of course, there's a lot of other things that, milling is a lot of times based on environmental conditions, wetting and drying. Maybe like this year in certain situations, maybe the draining too early and shutting that plant down early may have impacted that as well. But generally, it's just the plant, the grain moisture getting dry and it get re-wetting and drying again. That's where a lot of those milling issues come from. So that's kind of where we're at with rice varieties, and again, ready to kick off this 2024 season here pretty quick. And if you've got questions on any of this, feel free to contact me through Farmers Supply Association. And this has been Randy Klepeczka with your Farmers Supply Association Agri Report.